Here's Dilks won the roll. We see Gemstone Mine into Sakura Tribe Scout.
Now, I don't remember the name of it, but I believe that there's a functional Sakura Tribe Scout in Modern.
Sky Shroud Ranger.
Yeah, I believe it was in like 8th edition or something.
Originally from Tempest.
Right. But Sakura Tribe Scout is kind of a nod to that creature from Kamigawa block where the Sakura Tribe hails from.
The Scout also activatable at instant speed. There is
Right.
a slight functional difference.
Sure.
A couple Cavern of Souls and an Ether Vial for Piers.
Yeah, that Ether Vial is a great start here for the humans decks, allowing Piers to just generate a lot of extra mana over the next few turns. And here we see a miss from the Kitesail Freebooter, but Piers is going to have a bit more information on what to name if they draw a Meddling Mage or something.
So Champion of the Parish into a Freebooter, which sees 4 lands and Primeval Titan. We have 2 bounce lands in a Growth Chamber and a Sanctuary. Bajuka Bog, that doesn't play here, and a Cavern of Souls. See end step, Dilksel, Tribe Scout in that Growth Chamber, pick up his Gemstone Mine.
And here now he can float 3, play bounce land, return the Talaria West and transmute it. Find something like Engineered Explosives or Walking Ballista to clean up some of these creatures. You see he pulled explosives to the front, and that's going to be the pick.
That is the line. And with that combination of explosives and Titan, you put a lot of pressure on a potential Meddling Mage.
Yeah, and if Dilks had wanted to, he actually could have activated the Sakura Tribe Scout there to play the Gemstone Mine again, and that would allow him to explosives for a 1. But there's a good chance he's going to need to explosives on 2 to stop something like Meddling Mage from gumming up the works.
Vial goes to 2. Ancient Ziggurats, land number 3 for Piers. Here's Thalia, Guardian of Thraben. That'll pump up the champion. An attack for 4, knocks Dilks down to 16. And steps will use the Tribe Scout, putting that Bajuka Bog.
Got him. Graveyard gone.
Target you. No cards exiled. And now we're at Titan mana. Forest, Primeval Titan.
Yeah, but without Amulet of Vigor, this is good, but it's not game ending. Now, Dilks is just going to be able to get 2 lands here. He's going to have to return at least 1 with a bounce land if he's grabbing one of those. Actually, he's going to go get, it looks like a Counting Garden, but I wouldn't be surprised if he changes his mind and goes and gets another Talaria West to transmute at some point for a Walking Ballista. A lot of avenues for this Amulet Titan deck. Why you see a lot of the more experienced players playing it and not a whole lot of the amateur players playing it, because there's so many just kind of ridiculous lines you can take.
And it's really not similar to any other deck.
Right. Every turn you're basically looking through your entire deck, picking 2 cards, putting them on the battlefield.
So Colony Garden was found, as well as Boros Garrison, which will bounce the garden. Plant token, you see Jeremy Knoll deployed there. And here's our Boreal Grazer. Colony Garden redeployed. 2 plant tokens in tow. End step.
Ooh.
Piers are going to make a Phantasmal Image.
Oh, no. Piers copied the Primeval Titan, it looked like, but failed to grab some lands. That would have been a prime spot to go get a couple of Horizon Canopies.
Yeah, the Humans deck does have those redraws. Now we see Reflector Mage. He's going to bounce a Primeval Titan.
Oh, that's nice.
Champion of the Parish up to a 4/4. And here's an attack with all those creatures.
We're going to line up some blocks here. Perhaps Piers a bit unaware of the Primeval Titan triggers. A little tricky sometimes with Phantasmal Image. And of course, while those are not necessarily May abilities, you are allowed to miss your own triggers.
So here's a Thalia's Lieutenant being vialed in before damage. Dilks wisely put the Grazer in front of the Freebooter, so that one is going to survive combat. But Thalia and Lieutenant will eat the plant tokens.
Yeah, and remember though, Dilks actually can't recast Primeval Titan this turn because of the Reflector Mage's ability. Looks like we're going to have an Explosives for 2. Or nope, just an Ancient Stirrings here.
See an Amulet among the top 5 cards, some lands. Still know about an Engineered Explosive that he transmuted for earlier.
Yeah, and it looks like he found a Talaria West, so you can transmute that one as well. go get something like Walking Ballista and then use Walking Ballista's ping ability. Even though it only does 1 damage, it can take care of a Phantasmal image permanently thanks to the Illusion Clause. But Slayer Stronghold does the same thing, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that can just target any creature.
A lot of those lands nowadays say target creature you control, but for a long time, cards like that could target your opponent's stuff too.
So he finds Slayer's Stronghold, plays that, then deploys Engineered Explosives with X equals 2.
Now here's a weird interaction. Thalia says your opponent's spells cost 1 more than normal. The Engineered Explosive, so Dilks can say, I want to make X equal 1, and then he pays 2 mana for it to pay for the Thalia tax. And Sunburst only checks how much different colored mana you used to put the counters on. So X can be different than the Sunburst. So really heads up spy here for Dilks, able to get that explosives down for 1 mana cheaper than normal thanks to the Thalia.
So pre-combat, the Stronghold knocks off that Phantasmal image. Now we see an attack with all the humans. I believe Dilks is at 10 going into this. Apologies, a little bit of an issue with the display here.
Yeah, unfortunately the system we use to do the time shifted matches has been having some trouble lately. I think we need to jiggle the power cord a little bit, maybe turn it off, turn it back on again. I don't know why it fixes it, but it does sometimes.
That is a fact.
Dilks lining up some blocks to protect his life total. Gonna put in Cavern of Souls on the battlefield here with the Scout, and that's going to let him pop the Engineering Explosives for 2, killing Thalia, the Lieutenant, and the Freebooter. And with those blocks, it looks like he's going to take effectively 0 damage this turn.
Yeah, blocked everything that didn't cost 2, then took care of all the 2 mana cost permanents.
Yeah, and now what he can do is play Primeval Titan now that it's unlocked, and then go get a bounce land and then replay County Garden as his land for the turn to give him more blockers.
Militia Bugler post-combat for Pierce. She would love to find a meddling mage here, but I do not believe one has been found.
No, it looks like another champion of the parish is it. But does have another Reflector Mage in hand, so and if Dilks doesn't draw something like Amulet of Vigor here, that Titan's just going to get a couple more blockers out of the Colony Garden, but that's I guess the Slayer Stronghold can let him attack with it, but it's not even close to lethal. You need an Amulet of Vigor to do the combo kill turns.
So here's Primeval Titan, back again.
Checked it and directed. Let's begin.
Looking at 2 Simic Growth Chambers you see pulled to the front of the deck.
May want to go Growth Chamber into Talaria West to get another Transmute, but if I'm not mistaken, only has 1 copy of Ballista and 1 copy of Engineer Explosives in the main to tutor for.
There are 2 explosives in the main.
So that could help stymie some of the bleeding later on. Vesuva coming down to copy the Colony Garden. That's a pretty nice one.
Stronghold's going to pump the Primeval Titan, give it haste and vigilance.
Yeah, going to come in there for 8. That's going to let him search up 2 more lands, and now he can get 2 more bounce lands, return Vesuva and Talaria West. And I believe he still has a land drop to play for turn, so he can replay Colony Garden or Vesuva copying the Talaria West, or copying the Colony Garden rather.
This time he finds 2 Growth Chambers, picked up the Garden at Talaria West. Plays the Garden again, so now he has 2 plants, and the Titan connected for 8, Pierce to 12.
Now, there's a lot of damage on the battlefield here for Pierce, and this Reflector Mage is going to bounce that Titan again. Grows the champion of the parish. Another Reflector Mage here. Bounces a token. And Pierce is going to swing across, getting in 5 damage this turn.
Yeah, plant's got to block the champion. That one's a 9.
And since Dilk didn't ever have Amulet of Vigor, there's a good chance that Pierce wins this game, even though the Titan deck has basically done a really powerful thing just about every single turn.
Yeah, Dilk's now on 5, but there's a lot of damage on the other side of the table, and he cannot cast Primeval Titan this turn.
Yeah, that Reflector Mage's second ability just coming in huge here for Pierce, and it looks like they might be able to steal game 1.
Can't cast Plant Token either.
Yeah, get out of here. Elliot Raff, Jeremy Knoll.
Dilks did find Talaria West last turn, picked it up with a bounce land.
So he can go get Engineering Explosives, but I don't believe he has a good way to keep him from dying here. A second Walking Ballista, though, that could be a one way to get him out of it.
It finds Walking Ballista. I think we have 1, 2. He hasn't cast one this game. 3.
Oh, I'm sorry.
4.
I thought he had one earlier on, but it turns out he just used the Slayer Stronghold to kill the Phantasm, which that's my fault.
And Ballista for like 6 here?
That's a pretty big old ballista.
I don't think it's big enough.
It is not. He's still going to take 5 damage because he can block Champion of the Parish, and then he can shoot down 2 of the 3 toughness creatures, but it's going to leave 5 damage coming across, at the very least.
Tapping a lot of mana here. Just shoving all of it into the Ballista. Gemstone Mine to the graveyard. 7 was X.
Ooh, and Kabir
Ooh.
Crossroads as the land for the turn, going to go to 7. And I think he's actually going to get to survive for another turn. Unless Pierce finds something here to clear out that Walking Ballista, but finds a Meddling Mage.
So Champion of the Parish pre-combat. Goes the first one. Yeah, that Meddling Mage, that might just do it. Primeval Titan, of course, the name.
And here everything's going to come across. Walking Ballista has to basically shoot down 2 of the attackers to not be dead.
Ballista has to block this big champion because that's just lethal. There's no more plant tokens. It jumps in front there.
Now, I would have loved to have seen Piers actually play the Meddling Mage post-combat. Because here now, let's see. Ballista can shoot down the Meddling Mage and one of the other creatures. Oh, did he just kill himself? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7?
So he took care of the Meddling Mage, has 5 counters left over. If he takes care of that 3/4 Reflector Mage, he's only facing 6 damage.
Ah, yeah, that's a good point there. So Ballista here probably going to shoot down the 3/4 Meddling Mage. He's going to take 6 from the other creatures, and Piers actually might get bit here for playing that Meddling Mage pre-combat.
So 3/4 Reflector Mage down. Last Ballista counter goes at Piers. She'll fall to 11. 6 damage comes across. Dilks to 1.
Yeah, if Piers had just cast the Meddling Mage post-combat, that the Walking Ballista basically had to use most, if not all, of his counters for Dilks to survive. And unfortunately for him, or unfortunately for Jennifer, I think, now the Primeval Titan gets to come down, find Sunhome, Fortress of Legion, and a bounce land, return the Sunhome to hand, play it as the land for turn, activate Slayer Stronghold, and give a double strike. I think.
Well, here's that Titan. Yeah, we still have Slayer's Stronghold hanging out back there. 2 bounce lands are found.
Well, it's also possible Dilks doesn't actually have 2 red mana to activate Slayer Stronghold and Sunhome Fortress of Legion, so it may need to do a bunch of County Garden tricks this turn.
Picking up Kabir Crossroads and Vesuva off of those 2 bounce lands. Don't know how much 2 life can help him here, though. Needs to do a little bit more than that.
Might have a second Primeval Titan.
Yeah, he does.
Okay. Looks like he also has an Azusa, so he's going to get to play a bunch of lanes this turn. This is an insane game 1.
Yeah, once the Amulet Titan deck has... How much mana is he using this turn? 15?
Yeah.
You can do a lot of stuff even without an Amulet. And now you're seeing the double strike land showing up. That's Sunhome.
Yeah, so you can play the Kabira, gain 2 more life, play Vesuva, copy Kabira, gain 2 more life, go to 5. He has 3 blockers. Piers empty-handed, 4 attackers. Can also give one of the Primeval Titans Vigilance and Haste and attack for 8.
There is that Stronghold activation on the fresh Titan.
You can see Dilks has been digging through his deck so many times this turn. And he only has a few lands left in the deck.
And he's only attacking with that 8-power Titan.
Yeah, the other one has Summoning Sickness still because he did cast both of them this turn. And he only has the 1 Slayer Stronghold activation this turn because he doesn't have Amulet of Vigor. This game would have been significantly easier for Dilks if he had just had Amulet. Would have been able to win a long time ago.
Yep. Got the Titan, doesn't got the Amulet.
Normally it's good enough because you find Injure Explosives and Walking Ballista and things of that nature. But Piers able to navigate around those pretty easily without the amulet from Dilks' side of things.
Couple gemstone mines showing up for Dilks, and take a look at the round clock. This is still game 1. Over halfway through the round.
All right, what can Jennifer peel? A Phantasmal Image would be pretty good. Copies Reflector Mage, bounces a thing, gets in for lethal. Reflector Mage number 3 would be nice, or 4 rather.
Both Mantis Rider and Thalia's Lieutenant seem like they'd be good here.
Yeah. What is it? 3 mana.
I think everything on 3 is good. Phantasmal Image, copy Reflector Mage, bounce Primeval Titan, grow my champions.
I think this is going to be lethal here for Jennifer for game 1.
Yeah, that looks good. Attack with everything, and
wow.
Yeah, Dilks just picks him up. Despite getting up to, say, 20 mana there, just not able to pull it out against the Humans deck. Jennifer
Humans
Pierce
too strong.
Takes that first game down, and a marathon affair there. Might be tough for Dilks to actually close this matchup here.
Yeah, his deck does operate, pretty low amount of total raw turns played, but each turn, as the game progresses, gets longer and longer because he has to tutor through his deck sometimes multiple times in a turn, trying to figure out the line it takes to get the job done. But Piers there just navigating the game pretty well. Maybe one little misstep, but didn't end up costing her the game there. Let's see if she can win game 2 or 3 and take the match in these 19 minutes left.
Both players checking out their sideboards. Dilks has an extra engineered explosives on the sideboard. There's 3 Path to Exile. You can also bring in a Hornet Queen, which would buy you a lot of time, especially if games play out like that last game. You saw Piers maybe looking at some heavy sideboarding as well. You have the deck list. What's she looking at for sideboard options?
Some cards that are definitely coming in. Gaddock T can stop the X spells. That one's pretty good. Collector Oof shuts down Engineered Explosives and Walking Ballista. I wouldn't mind that one. Deputy Detention can take away one of Matthew Dilks' blockers, or snag all of the plant tokens, or maybe just take away something like an Amulet of Vigor on the 3rd turn. But other than that, most of the sideboard cards out of the Humans deck are going to be graveyard-based or removal-based. Not a ton.
Pretty quick mulligan for Piers here in game number 2. Looks like Dilks kept on 7.
Yeah, no lands for Piers.
We're getting pretty close to being caught up to this being a live match at this point.
At this point, I can't imagine Dilks is going to be able to win 2 games in time. So this looks like Jennifer's match to win or lose, or win or draw, rather. And now it does incorporate the London Mulligan, so it's going to draw 7, but has to throw 1 back. No 1-drop, though, but a couple Meddling Mages might be good enough.
I think there is a Noble Hierarch in the hand, actually.
Ooh. Oh, you're right. That's a great start, then.
So Sakura Tribe Scout off of Forest for Dilks, Ancient Ziggurat, Noble Hierarch for Piers. Tolaria West is a second land for Dilks. Not seeing an amulet this game so far either. Cavern of Souls is land number 2 for Piers. And the Meddling Mage.
You have to imagine that one's always going to name Primeval Titan in this matchup, but looks like Jennifer's going to go for Walking Ballista on the first one to make sure that Dilks can't deploy a creature in between and actually knock off the Meddling Mage.
See an attack from the Noble Hierarch, Dilks to 19 before scouting in a second Forest. Ballista can be really high impact, though unfortunately for Piers, the ratio is 3 explosives to 1 Ballista, I believe, for Dilks.
Right. Piers here has the 4th mana. This turn can deploy a second Meddling Mage as well as Thalia's Lieutenant and buff all our creatures and get in there for a chunk of damage.
Another Forest for Dilks. He'll pass to Piers, who's going to start by playing and sacrificing a Horizon Canopy. Hand that started light on lands has now maybe gotten a little bit heavy. Second Meddling Mage, this one on Primeval Titan.
Yeah, now Piers is protected from Ballista. Dilks is going to have to find some way to get the other Meddling Mage off the battlefield that's not Walking Ballista.
So here's an activation of the Tribe Scout for a Simic Growth Chamber. It picks up Basic Forest. Leaves that Tolaria West on the table, possibly a little tight on blue mana to transmute that just yet. Definitely heavy on green mana. Here's Vesuva. Looks like that's going to copy the Growth Chamber, floats 3 blue mana. Now he'll transmute the Tolaria West.
Yeah, doing some really neat tricks here with these bounce lands from original Ravnica block.
And finds Kabira Crossroads before passing back.
He must have something else in mind. Instead of killing these meddling mages, he's going for something else. Maybe he's going for a Hornet Queen here. Or maybe he already has the Engineer Explosives and is just trying to get Piers to deploy a few more threats.
There's Champion of the Parish for Piers. And there's Thalia's Lieutenant. So one more 2 has shown up. So we see the team getting +1/+1 counters. Attack with the Hierarch and both meddling mages.
Swing for 7 here is a big attack from Piers. Dilks probably just going to have to soak it.
Well, Tribes got in the Kabira Crossroads, so after the damage, she went to 9 and back up to 11.
Now, Dilks does have access to 7 mana or more this turn, so if he has the Hornet Queen or Summoner's Pact to go get it, he can deploy a lot of defense on this turn.
And defense is good at all, but we're coming down to about 11 minutes in the round.
Right.
He's got to close this game.
Yeah, if he doesn't win this game, he's actually going to effectively lose the match, even if it's a draw this game.
Plays Forest, activates Tribe Scout. There's Slayer's Stronghold.
So he's going to Path to Exile either the one with Ballista and cast Ballista, or he's just naming the one with Primeval Titan and casting Titan.
So it looks like Path on the Ballista Meddling Mage. So that was a good name for Piers. So now the Path has caught up with it, and here's a Ballista for 4.
All right. It's a strong turn from Dilks.
Piers goes and finds basic planes off of Path to Exile, and we're officially caught up. So this is live from where we're at.
Now, Piers doesn't need to win this game. She needs to not lose this game in order to take the match. A lot of pressure on Dilks here to close in the next 10 minutes, but his deck is more than capable of doing so. Does have some really explosive turns, but a lot of time those explosive turns actually take a good chunk of time to just resolve.
He's going to maintain the Ballista on 4 for a second here as he passes to Piers. I see a hand that I want to say is 3 lands.
All right, Silent Clearing here, going to get popped. Looking for spell, some action, and that's a good one. Phantasmal Image can copy a Thaw's Lieutenant here and grow everything. And that kind of forces Dilks' hand to go ahead and start shooting stuff down with Walking Ballista.
Yeah, ideally, you can get that Ballista to use all of its counters before Dilks can untap with all this mana.
Right. Now, with the Phantasmal Image on the stack, though, Dilks can pop Thalia's Lieutenant, so it's not able to actually copy it. And in that scenario, Piers has to choose a different creature to copy. I'm guessing Meddling Mage, but it only takes 1 counter to get rid of it after that. So I'm not really sure what the best name here is going to be.
Yeah, the non-lieutenant options not looking great.
Right.
So here's Phantasmal Image. This is Dilks' window to respond.
Yeah, if I'm Dilks, I'm trying to mitigate the damage here. I'm going to pop the Thaw's Lieutenant with the image on the stack before it can copy. He's going to use 3 counters in total here. Looks like he's just going to kill the Meddling Mage that's on Primeval Titan, and then he's going to pop the Thaw's Lieutenant. So now the image has to copy either Noble Hierarch or Champion of the Parish, neither of which is a great hit here. Yeah. But both do pump the Champion of the Parish.
Probably not copying Sakura Tribe Scout.
Right, yeah. Very little reason to.
So it copies the Champion. That grows the Champion of the Parish. So here's an attack with Noble Hierarch and Champion of the Parish. Does that resolve like a Thalia's attack? The Hierarch shouldn't have an extra counter, right?
Oh, actually, it looks like Dilks actually let it copy the Thaw's Lieutenant first. And so it did get a counter on both, 2 counters on the Champion of the Parish and a counter on the Noble Hierarch, so maybe a misstep from Dilks there. Did want to shoot stuff down with the trigger on the stack, though.
And the Hierarch and the Champion knocked Dilks to 4. He's definitely played last turn like he had a Primeval Titan, and now you see Summoners packed.
Yeah, but now this becomes Dilks' wheelhouse here. He's going to get to tutor for a Titan. Titan's going to be able to do some Talaria West tricks, perhaps. Maybe just do some Colony Garden shenanigans, but has a couple land drops to work with thanks to Sakura Tribe Scout. So any bounce land can bounce Vesuva or the Kabir Crossroads and then replay it to gain some more life.
Titan is the find on the pack. He'll cast that.
Now, Vesuva, of course, still copying Simic Growth Chamber from earlier.
Pick up the deck again. Time to find some lands.
Talaria West seems like a no-brainer because it allows you to get something like Engineering Explosives next turn. But remember, he is going to be a little taxed on his mana next turn because of that Summoner's Pact. So
2 bounce lands, Boros Garrison and Simic Growth Chamber. And he already has the Slayer Stronghold on the battlefield, currently tapped.
Yep, wouldn't be surprised here if Dilks bounces Kabir Crossroads and Vesuva, plays Kabir Crossroads for his land drop for the turn, and then uses Sakura Tribe Scout to put the Vesuva in and copy it.
Well, so far so good. Picks up Crossroads Vesuva, plays the Crossroads up to 6. And Engineered Explosives on 1. 2 mana left open. That can take care of the Hierarch and the Champion at the low cost of his Tribe Scout.
For sure. Another land drop for Piers, but luckily it is a Horizon Canopy, so she is going to be able to crack it and see a fresh one. It's one of the really strong parts of those Canopy lands in this Humans deck. Early they function like dual lands, and late they get to turn into fresh cards.
The redraw was nice, but it was just a Noble Hierarch, so it didn't end up working out.
Yeah, a little pressure from the Engineered Explosives means that Piers can't really deploy the Noble Hierarch, but can choose to attack with the Champion of the Parish. It's going to get a +1/+1 from the Noble, so it is going to be a swing for 6. And now Dilks has to think, do I chump block with the Tribe Scout and wait one more turn to pop the Explosives? I think so.
So he's blocking with the Tribe Scout. He'll activate that. Puts Vesuva back, copies Crossroads, goes up to 8. And yeah, damage happens. Tribe Scout down, maintains that Explosives on 1. Yep. You see Piers pass, no reason to deploy that second Hierarch.
Yeah, and there's also no reason for Dilks to potentially pop the Explosives there because it would even kill the Sakura Tribe Scout. So a chump block gets to keep any more 1-drops from Piers as the follow-up on the second main phase. Still has Explosives for the next turn.
Dilks pays for Pact, so he goes back to his turn. And we'll see how much damage he can do with the Titan. Slayer Stronghold on the table, so he can make it an 8, but still no Amulet here. He'll attack with the Titan. Go find 2 more lands.
He's going to get a Colony Garden for a chump blocker, and probably a bounce land or Talaria West. Might get Sunhome Fortress of the Legion, though, just so he can potentially double strike for the win next turn, but I think the Talaria West package is a little bit stronger here.
Yep. Growth Chamber, Talaria West. Picks up the Talaria West. Appears the 14 off the attack. Trinket Mage post-combat for Dilks.
That's going to go get artifact costs, I believe, 1 or 0. So can get Engineered Explosives. Might get Amulet of Vigor.
Second copy of Engineered Explosives.
So he can play an Explosives for X equals 2 and hold up a pop for 2 or a pop for 1.
Things looking pretty good for Dilks in terms of winning this game, though now we're down to 3 minutes in the match.
Yeah, so if he wins this game, it's going to be a 1-1 tie. But he still has a ways to go to actually win this game.
Deploys that Explosives on 2. Piers will draw for turn. I think she finally drew a spell.
Yeah, but I think it's a Dismember, which doesn't do a ton here. It does clear the Trinket Mage, and it forces Dilks to go ahead and use that explosives for X equals 1.
Yeah, it indeed does look like Dismember, but the attacks here still pretty anemic in the face of these explosives.
Yeah, Dilks going to go ahead and pop this explosive. It's going to take care of the Champion of the Parish and the Noble Hierarch. That image is a copy of Thalia's Lieutenant, so it's going to survive. Second main here is going to deploy a Noble Hierarch and has Dismember at the ready to potentially shrink the Primeval Titan in combat. But I'm not sure how much that's going to do.
Yeah, theoretically, the now 2/2 Thalia's Lieutenant could block, though Dilks kind of has that covered. He has Slayer's Stronghold hanging out to just take care of that Phantasmal image.
Yeah, as well as the Engineering Explosive on X equals 2.
A lot of ways to answer that for sure. Transmute Talaria West.
And he's going to be floating a green mana. Going to go get Primeval Titan. He's going to give it haste. He's going to get to dig up 4 lands. Or 6 lands, I guess. Wow.
If he has enough mana to Titan, haste, and use the explosives onto, and attack with the Trinket Mage, this is lethal this turn.
All right.
I didn't check the mana, but the game actions are technically available if he can commit to them.
Sure. Gonna go with Bounce Land and Talaria West. Picking up, looks like Kabir Crossroads. Still hasn't played a land for the turn. He's gonna give the new Primeval Titan haste. That's 14 trample coming across.
And there's 2 mana left over. So yeah, attack with both Titans and Trinket Mage.
Now, you can also wait until after blocks are declared. He still gets the trample damage, but if Piers actually puts the Thalia's Lieutenant in front of the Trinket Mage before Dilks pops the Injured Explosives, and Piers puts a Noble Hierarch in front of a Primeval Titan, Piers will survive for 1 more turn, but I believe Dilks is going to be able to win this game within the 5 extra turns of time, and neither player is going to be able to win Game 3, obviously, so I think it's going to go to a 1-1-1 draw.
And in fact, if you go to time and haven't started Game 3, you don't even start the 3rd game.
Right.
Match is officially considered a draw, and it looks like we see Piers picking him up. So presumably that is where we ended up. So yeah,
Okay.
that match is going to be a 1-1. It's going to be a draw.